Hello everyone, Ranger Jasmine here at Lincoln Home National Historic Site. Welcome back to another episode of Reading with a Ranger for African American History Month. In an 1858 letter, Abraham Lincoln stated his belief that African Americans were included in the Declaration of Independence's statement that all men are created equal. Yet, roughly 100 years later, African Americans were still not equal under the law. In today's story, we're going to learn about how not only adults, but also children fought against an injustice and helped America take one step closer to making that ideal become a reality.
Come and sit near, the adventure is here, because it's Reading with a Ranger.
Today's story is Let the Children March, written by Monica Clark Robinson and illustrated by Frank Morrison. It is focused on an event during the American Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 1960s called the Children's Crusade, or the Children's March. It was part of the larger Birmingham Campaign, which fought to end segregation in Birmingham, Alabama. Now that we have a little bit of background on the story, let's get started. Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson, illustrated by Frank Morrison. 1963, Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't play on the same playground as the white kids. I couldn't go to their schools. I couldn't drink from their water fountains. There were so many things I couldn't do. Earlier, I mentioned the word segregation. Do you know what that word means? Maybe you remember it from our last story about the Tuskegee Airmen. If not, it means to be forced to use separate facilities based on differences, such as race. So here we can see the children couldn't use the same playgrounds, schools, or water fountains because of their race. Let's see next what they do about it. One warm spring night, my family went to church. We weren't there to have regular services. We were there to hear Dr. King speak. We were there to plan. He wanted to raise an army of peaceful protesters to fight for freedom, his brown eyes flashing fire and love. Dr. King told us the time had come to march. If I march, Mama said, I'll lose my job, sure enough. I can't march, Daddy said. I got a family to feed. The weight of the world rested on our parents' shoulders, but this burden, this time, did not have to be theirs to bear. I don't have a boss to fear, my brother said, or a job to lose. We can march this time. We'll be Dr. King's army, I said. I'll be fine, Daddy, I promised. Don't worry, Mama. Dr. King didn't like the children being put in harm's way. He was a daddy too, after all. But he said that though we were young, we were not too young to want our freedom. Let the children march. They will lead the way. So have you heard of Dr. King before? You might know him better for his full name, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was the most famous civil rights activist in the American Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 1960s. He was a leader who organized peaceful protesters to protest and boycott unfair treatment of African Americans. And this is him over here. On May 2nd, a sunny Thursday, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, we all met at the church, dressed in our best, feet ready. In a silence so loud that all I could hear was my racing heart, we began to walk. Hand in hand we marched, so frightened, yet certain of what was right for freedom. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Would I be hurt? Would we be heard? Would it be all worth it in the end? I wanted to run from the angry faces in the crowd, run from danger, run from fear. Boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, on and on we marched. We marched, we marched. Singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came. Hate dogged my heels all that day, its yellowed canine teeth sharp, but courage walked by my side and kept me going. Disperse or you'll be jailed, the police shouted the first day. Disperse or you'll get wet, the police shouted the second day. Disperse or we'll release the dogs, the police shouted the third day. We did not disperse. We kept on marching. We wouldn't stop until things started to change. So here the police are telling the children to disperse. Disperse means to scatter. So basically they're telling them to leave and stop protesting, but the children didn't. I'm sure it was very scary and even painful when they sprayed them with these high-powered water hoses or released the police dogs on them, and they did arrest over 2,000 people that day. But despite their pain and fear, they kept standing up for what they believed was right. Is there anything you care so much about that you would be willing to go through pain and suffering? Hundreds of us went to jail on the first day, and even more on the second. My turn wasn't until the third day. After I was sprayed by water stronger than anything I've ever felt, rough hands pushed me forward and I fell to my knees in the police wagon. I was going to jail. Dr. King reassured our parents. Don't worry about your children, he said. They're going to be all right. Don't hold them back if they want to go to jail. For they are doing a job for not only themselves, but for all of America and for all of mankind. That night, crowded into a cell too small for even half of the kids, we sang, "We shall overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. And freedom is coming." Our parents couldn't be there with us, but still we sang, wrapped in the proud and loving arms of our ancestors. I was still in jail, but we heard that the next day and the next, more kids marched. The water hoses they used to sting us could not stop our fierce tide. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Turn the other cheek, we had been taught. Show love where there is hate. The world watched as hate bruised us, but for 7 days we walked only in love. The jails swelled to bursting, and even President Kennedy took notice. The daddy said the president received letters and calls about us from all over the world. Our march would become a memory, a small part of a larger story. We had been heard, and the seeds of revolution were sown. So revolution, what does that word mean? Maybe you've heard it in words such as the American Revolution. So usually it means to rebel or overthrow a government, such as when the American Revolution, the Americans overthrew the British rule. But here it also means a big change in society. So these children caused a big change or a revolution in helping change America for the better and helping to end segregation. 2 days and nights I stayed in the jail. Some stayed even longer. When I left, I was tired and sore, and my best dress was ripped, but my smile was as wide as the Mississippi River. I had made a difference. "I'm so proud of you, baby girl," Mama said. "Your march was what made them see." With nothing more than our feet, voices, and courage, we had done what others could not. Change was right around the corner. We felt it like a cool breeze in an Alabama August. On May 10th, the great news rang out. Dr. King had reached an agreement with the white leaders of the city. Desegregation would begin. 1 month later, I was playing on a playground I'd never been allowed to play on before. 2 months later, my family ate at a diner we'd never been allowed to eat in before. Our march had made the difference. We children led the way. Singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came. The end. We hope you enjoyed Let the Children March and this special Reading with the Rangers series. Which story was your favorite? And which story inspired you most? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you'd like to learn more about the Birmingham Campaign or the American Civil Rights Movement, we've included links below. Thanks again for joining us for this special series, and happy African American History Month.